Did you? I almost forgot my next set of questions. This is so beautiful. I could just keep continuing. Let you just
Thank
continue
you.
with.
Thank you.
When did you crack this code? Like, when did you crack it so beautifully? The syllabus code.
हाय गाइस, कितनी बार आपने सुना होगा ना रैंकर से कि सिलेबस और PYQ पे पकड़ काफ़ी मजबूत रखो। अरीबा रैंक 109 जिनसे मैं बात कर रहा हूँ इस वीडियो में, थर्ड एपिसोड ऑफ रॉ एंड रियल, सेट द सेम थिंग्स टू मी ओवर फोन एंड आई वाज लाइक इसमें कोई नई बात तो नहीं है, बट लेट्स गो डीप 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 विद हर कि हाउ डिड शी डू इट. And the way she has explained the poetry and philosophy of the syllabus, which she figured out in her very first attempt, is beautiful. मैं 110% गारंटी से बोल रहा हूँ, you would have never come across something like this. ये कहीं बीच में होता है, I don't know the timestamp, but the conversation is so thoroughly beautiful and authentic that मैं mind map भी नहीं बना रहा हूँ इस वीडियो के लिए. एंड इफ़ यू वांट मी टू हैव अनदर वीडियो विद हर जिसमें वी जस्ट काइंड ऑफ इंटरलिंकिंग सिलेबस एंड PYQs एंड गेटिंग हर मास्टर शीट वेयर शी काइंड ऑफ फिगर्ड आउट कैसे कनेक्शंस बन रहे हैं, शी कुड प्रिडिक्ट 30-40% ऑफ द पेपर सो नाइसली. तो कमेंट करो पीछे वीडियो के एंड लेट्स स्टार्ट द वीडियो.
Hi everyone, this is Rohit again. We are on the third episode of Raw and Real, and today I have with me Areeba. She's 109 AIR of a year back, but more than that, my conversations with her just few days back were surreal. She's one of the person who probably had a proper framework to begin with when she started her preparation, and despite some setbacks in the whole journey, she kept up at those set of fundamentals, most part of them. So the bulk of this conversation would be around ki what were your frameworks around tackling prelims, mains, and then uske andar ke niches, the subjects and the themes, uh, and what are like the pitfalls which usually new aspirants face. You know, they might get swayed away by a new glamorous method of preparing, or they might just start doing some recursion with themselves ki main khud se karke dekhta hu and then I'll figure it out my golden mean. But it seemed to me that you had some set of golden rules which you followed diligently year after year, and eventually you tasted success. So that is of supreme interest to me to figure this out with you. इस वाले वीडियो के लिए we might or might not make mind map, but अगर अरीबा कुछ solid objective fundamentals देती है तो I'll try to push it in an objectified summary manner, so that all of you can take screenshots or can just refer to the video again and again. Thanks Areeba for joining us today. तो
so much
शुरू
for
से शुरू
inviting.
करते हैं. या तो ऐसा करते हैं, you start your story, ठीक है, from the time when you decided कि this exam is what I want to give, and who did you meet and how were you mentored initially, and then how did the story progress? The floor is yours.
So I graduated in computer science engineering from Delhi University in 2017, and I joined a startup based on artificial intelligence, and it was a very interesting field, so I joined it, but in a very small time, like 10-12 days, I realized that it's high time that I should pursue one of my childhood dreams. So
Okay.
it was 2018 when I started my full-fledged preparation, and I went to Old Rajendra Nagar. I joined one of the most prestigious coachings, and
Okay.
it all started since 2018. So as you told
Okay.
me that I had few fundamentals that were very clear since very beginning, was because I had a mentor in the very initial stages, because
Okay.
the mentor was a person who was already in service. He was an SDM of my district, so fortunately I got to meet him back in 2017, and he became my mentor. So the problem with this exam is there are so many pitfalls, as you said, and they are so attractive in nature that you tend to fall in them. And what a mentor will do is to save you from falling in those pitfalls, because the person has already gone through this exam, so he knows this is good and this is bad. So I committed less mistakes, and of course a mentor cannot spoon feed you. Ultimately you have to come up with your own ways, but the person can at least tell you not to do this. If you do this, you will definitely fail.
हाँ, तो ऐसा करते हैं ना, 3 पार्ट्स में बांटते हैं हर एक सब्जेक्ट का, राइट? तो एक तो रैबिट होल्स क्या क्या होते हैं वो घुस जाओगे, तो कुछ चीजें जो डेफिनेटली नहीं करनी चाहिए फॉर एवरीथिंग, कुछ चीजें जो कर सकते हो if you have some kind of a personality bent or you can't avoid, and कुछ चीजें जो definitely करनी चाहिए, right? So must do and must not do चीजें आप बताओ, और बीच की कुछ ग्रे एरिया हाईलाइट कर लो which probably even you went into, because the preparation is so, the gestation period of this preparation is so high, तो हो ही जाता होगा. तो आप बताओ कि how did you go with it? Like what were the fundas given for each of those themes, prelims, mains, and then?
So the very first funda is know what the exam is about. It's not just that somebody told you that it's UPSC and they select for IAS, IPS and etc. services. So you just went into it. What I believe is when you are in some battle, you should know everything about that battle, who your enemy is, what kind of ground you will be fighting the battle in, what kind of arsenals you are having, what shortcomings you might face, what are your weaknesses, what are your strengths. So for me, UPSC was a battle and I had to know everything about this battle. So
Okay.
the very first thing was syllabus. That is what will give you direction about this exam, what this exam is. And see, when you understand the content, what they will be asking, then only you understand what kind of qualities they require in you. So with syllabus, you'll understand what kind of preparation and in what directions of preparation you have to do. Second is your previous year questions. Your previous year question is what kind of things are going on in this enemy's mind. See, UPSC is making these questions, putting some intelligence. They want to grasp some of your qualities through those questions. Prelims, mains is a medium to test your qualities. So with previous year, this will be sorted, what they are looking for and in how much depth you have to go in some topic. Okay, so first is the syllabus, clarity of syllabus, clarity of previous year question. And third, very important thing is what sources you will be picking. So
Okay.
I was so sure about my sources that I didn't take even one book extra in my 4 attempts. Whatever books I
Okay.
had in first attempt, I didn't add even one book in till my 4th attempt. Even
Okay.
I am also giving this attempt, I'm also appearing for this 2022 attempt. Still, I don't have any other resource that I had in first attempt because I had given a lot of time in understanding those sources, that how the source will help me, and then only I'll buy a book. I won't buy any other book if it is not going to help me in any manner in any of the stages. Like people go in ORN and they literally shop books. They will go to some bookstore and then they will pick, let's do this, let's do this. So
Correct.
it should be very much clear in your head that you are going to the shop to buy this one book only. You don't have to go and shop there because there is limitless books, limitless material for any subject. Okay, so the fourth thing is your resources should be very much sorted. You don't have to add anything or don't have to, delete anything just because some random person is saying. Okay, and the fifth thing is, I believe, newspaper. Newspaper is the most important pillar of this whole exam till interview. And people find out shortcuts around it. They will go and just, get a gist of material from coaching magazines. They will not want to put the daily efforts which goes in newspaper. They think that it's a time waste. I call it a time investment. That's the biggest investment you are doing. It's not wasting your time. If you're giving 3 hours daily to newspaper, you are becoming a thinking person. Now you can think on your own if some policy is in front of you. So but what people do is they will get some random coaching material and then they will just blindly follow it. They will not read newspaper. So coaching will always help you. They will supplement your whatever preparation. They will ease your preparation, but they cannot be substitute to your own efforts.
अच्छा, मेरे को 2-3 चीजें बताओ. So you
हाँ.
also mentor a few people at Civilsdaily, right? यही same funda you push to them. These are the same
Yes.
fundamentals you push to them.
Definitely.
And so this sounds so nice and this sounds so right in its encapsulation. But what happens when shit hits the fan? So what happened when, let's say, you couldn't clear mains in the first attempt, or I think, and then you said एक बार prelims ही निकला बीच में somehow, right?
Yes.
What happens in those weak movements when you apparently come with a sound strategy, you're so disciplined, and then suddenly the things go for a toss? फिर कैसे करते हो? How did you actually do it? Like how did you come back to the same fundamentals again?
See, in the first attempt that I gave, it was a 6 months preparation, and the cutoff was 98. I scored 90.
Acha.
So I realized that I am on the right track. I don't have to change anything. Just that if you give me one more month, I will clear this 8 marks. Okay,
Acha.
see, had it been ki I scored some 70s or 80s and the cutoff was 98, so there would have been some problems that I had to look in. But now with 6 months preparation, when I am literally starting from scratch, I didn't know what is the difference in president, prime minister. That was my level. So in that 6
Okay.
months, I could score 90 in prelims, and the cutoff was just 8 marks more with my marks. So I realized that it's a correct strategy, just that you did not have time, and you did not have that kind of maturity how to attempt that paper. So I only built upon how am I going to correct the way I attempt the paper. I didn't change even one of my strategies. The only
Okay.
thing I added was how to give the paper finally, like how to think while you are sitting in those 2 hours of writing exam.
Okay.
Which questions to attempt first, what to leave, how to take risk. This was one thing that I worked on. I didn't I had changed nothing in the second attempt. So I cleared my prelims in second attempt, but I could not clear mains. And again, the story was same. I was short of 10-12 marks in mains again.
Acha. What
when
was
I
this
gave
like?
it.
Optional
Yes,
ने
optional ने ये करा था.
कौन सा था
Optional
optional? What was the optional?
sociology.
Sociology. Okay.
So that I realized that I was basically, sociology is a very society kind of thing that you're seeing daily. Like women's subjugation, tribal issues, caste issues, you are witnessing daily. So I took that subject very lightly. I thought that everything is clear. I understand everything. But that book requires a lot of bookish language to put in the paper.
Okay.
And I was never this kind of person who will recall, if there are 5 points, I will spit out 5 points. I was never like this. I will make my own points. So
Okay.
that was a setback when I did not clear mains because of my optional. So again, in third attempt, I corrected this and I gave ample time to sociology. GS was fine in my first attempt. GS was fine. But third attempt was a big shock for me, because in this, I again could not clear prelims. Not because of GS, but because of CSAT. So GS, I cleared with a margin of 15 marks. But CSAT, I could not clear with a margin with 1 or 2 marks. And yeah, so that was really a shock for me, because in my previous attempts, I had scored 110 or 109 something in CSAT. And this time I could not clear it. So the thing was, I again took this paper lightly. I didn't give even a minute for attempting this whole, CSAT thing. Because see, the thing is, when you are a fresh graduate, you are just out of your college, a lot of numbers and a lot of formulas and a lot of understanding goes through in your mind. You have a comprehensive mind. You tend to solve logical reasoning and quant very easily.
Right.
But as the time passes, polity, environment, all of these things stick to your mind, and you are not a number sort of person anymore.
Yeah.
So that was a blunder. I didn't give even a minute to these questions, and I was literally stuck in CSAT. I was could not.
So you knew it was coming. You knew it would be. You kind of knew it would be coming.
No. I didn't. I had a lot of faith in myself, but when I was finally sitting in CSAT paper, then in the very first half an hour, I realized today the day is going haywire. And since I had did good in paper 1 in GS, I knew that I'm clearing paper 1, so the kind of pressure grew exponentially. That bro, you are clearing paper 1, but you are stuck in CSAT. So I could not control all of those, whatever things were going in mind, and finally I could not.
Areeba, तो ये बता यार. So this was your third attempt. Sadly, the CSAT fiasco happened.
Yeah.
And then you had one. So like you had the next attempt ka time, right? Nothing changed. No, nothing in the preparation changed for you. Again, the same fundamentals, back to business, or just that. This is itna discipline kaise yaar? You must have seen people doing different tricks, right? In their successive attempts. So what kept bringing you back to basics? I mean, it's not an everyday story that we hear.
See, one thing I believe in this exam is, the simple you keep it, the easier will be for you to crack it. If you try to add a lot of things, if you try to add a lot of formulas in it, that do this, do that, refer this material, refer that material. This coaching is expert in this. This teacher is expert in this. The more you make it complicated, you will be deviating from it. So
Sometimes we hear
fundamental
from people ki you need to differentiate yourself from other people because now you're reading the same sources. And लोगों को FOMO होता है कि how do I differentiate my answer from other answer? And you're telling me that you keep it simple. I mean, do not go into those thoughts because that's another rabbit hole, and there is no end to
Yes, that's the biggest rabbit hole. I would say biggest rabbit hole.
Oh,
Because
okay.
see, I believe that the industry is growing. This whole industry is growing, and everybody has mind. Every coaching is putting best efforts. Everyone will get out the best materials according to themselves. But you have
Correct.
to choose very limited, right? You have to choose what benefits you. If there is one book, Lakshmikant, that can do your work, why are you reading D.D. Basu and every other book? If
What if
one
my
book,
answer is that it gets boring, it gets very boring and you get saturated, फिर क्या करो? The answer, a lot of people say that, toppers keep saying 11 बार पढ़ लो, 10 बार पढ़ लो, but हो ही नहीं पाता. तो how do you get creative with this thing then?
First is 50% of the times it will be monotonous. You are not going in Bollywood industry that you will be getting entertained and people will be entertaining you. So you have to first accept that this job might get boring after some time. So maybe that's a way of checking this quality, that can you be there patient enough to keep doing the same work over and over again. Because most of the time Singham doesn't happen in real life. Ultimately you are doing the same paperwork. So I think that UPSC wants to check this quality, that do you get bored, leave this job, or you can stay here.
That's a nice way to look at it, yeah. That's a really nice way. And I remember that when you had come to Civilsdaily and you did that whole big lecture thing, तब you had mentioned that UPSC is, अब जैसे तुमने बोला, is pretty intelligent about devising कि prelims क्यों ऐसा बना रहे हैं and subjects क्यों ऐसे डाल रहे हैं, and you might think that you can rig the game, but you're missing out these small points which it has kind of already embedded in the game. Just like, I mean, this polity wala answer sounds very true, that our life is very realistically stated and not that glamorous. And हर सिंघम जो है, तो आप पॉलिटी 10 बार पढ़ोगे नहीं तो फिर तो मतलब आप कहीं आप कुछ रिपोर्ट्स नहीं बनाओगे मे बी अंदर की यार ये क्या है जो एग्जीक्यूशन. So how does it, इस पे थोड़ा डीप जाते हैं, how does it so how do you figure prelims with this, how do you figure different subjects with this, कि governance या geography में ऐसे क्या क्या elements हैं कि that's what is closer to the actual real life bureaucratic mindset, the way they put it. Did I make my question clear, or did I get? Matlab, how have you figured the UPSC mindset? Matlab, तुमने अपने हिसाब से, right? How much did you come close to figuring the enemy's mindset? If I must put it that way.
As I told you, you have only two clues in front of you. That one is syllabus, one is previous year question. So that is what is out in public domain, right? You don't know anything else. They have only given you syllabus, they have only given you previous year questions. That's all. है ना? So syllabus is the expanse of your enemy. है ना? Expanse of your enemy. And PYQ is the arsenals that enemy is carrying. What kind of weapons that enemy has. A few will be very easy to crack, and a few will be very, it will be something Iron Dome kind of thing of Israel. You don't have to bother about it. So, but the trap is people tend to do these questions which are very tricky and which are, that doesn't matter. Those questions do not decide your selection. But the students are so freaked out about those type of questions that they tend to miss that 80-20 Pareto rule. They will go behind 20% like anything, and they will miss out whole 80%. So that is the thing. So basically stick to previous year question and stick to syllabus. That's all. Okay,
give me an example. So you stress a lot on PYQ. वो तो मुझे समझ में आता आजकल. Lot of sincere people we've spoken earlier with, they follow the same funda. What if you, so how you just sticking to syllabus wala funda hai, right? What if you don't stick to syllabus and you just start your preparation just like that? मतलब you to the point you've said, right? Lines, हर एक line समझो syllabus की, whatever they've incorporated, the depth of that wording and all that. Can you give some example and tell me कि if someone goes by your way, how will he look at the UPSC preparation की दुनिया versus someone who just starts by reading newspaper and says कि current affairs ही तो है और ये 10 किताबें तो पता ही हैं. How does it, कैसे वो difference और फिर वो wedge कैसे बढ़ता चले जाता है?
See, so first taking newspaper, if you do not know the syllabus, you have just started newspaper. Okay, so at least in a day there are more than 100 news. If you are even doing the smaller news, there are more than
Yeah.
100, like 80 news at least, on a daily basis. So what happens is you put in energy in those 80 news equally. The person who doesn't know the syllabus and a person who knows the syllabus will put in 50% of the energy in those useless things, and he will save the 50% of energy in the very important things that the syllabus will tell you and the previous year questions will tell you. Like students don't understand what news articles to leave. They do not understand that what political news to leave. Like you would have listened that toppers say that don't read political news. So, but if the opposition and ruling party is talking about remote voting machine, that is not a political news. That's a structural news. That's a something very embedded in your political structure. How the votes are being, done.
Right.
So aspirants, if they go by this formula that leave political news, they will leave remote voting machines also. If the opposition and ruling party is debating on simultaneous elections, so a normal aspirant will leave thinking that it's a political news. But a thinking person will grasp simultaneous elections out of it and build thinking on it.
Got it.
So this is how a person who doesn't know syllabus differentiates with a person who knows syllabus. So you think with a different angle, your antenna is on all the time when you have syllabus in mind. When you are going through newspaper, if you that syllabus will strike you and you will stop there and read that news in depth.
Okay.
And now coming to your mains. Take for example mains. So mains, I have told that in my seminar also at CD, that main syllabus is very philosophically built. They have not just put in any random line at any place. Like I told example of economy. The very first line in economy is planning of resources, mobilization of resources, growth, development, employment. So there's a philosophy in it, because in economy, first the planning happens. Second, mobilization of resources happens. Third, growth will come in quantitative manner. With that, development will come in a qualitative manner. And then the major issue that lies in any economy is employment. So it's a philosophy. A person who will just read the syllabus like any other article will not grasp the philosophy of it.
Right. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. Like for example, the second example that I gave was the syllabus is kind of major cropping patterns. Then they have written irrigation. Then they have written storage, transport, technology, marketing and technology. So see, it's very logical that first of all cropping pattern will be decided. Then irrigation, पानी दोगे आप अनाज को. Then उसको harvest करके you will store it. Then you will transport it. Then you will market it, and then technology will come into picture. है ना? A thinking person will see the syllabus in a thinking manner, and a person who doesn't put in thinking, like who doesn't think about the syllabus, will just randomly, just read it and go on.
No,
So
I agree.
Syllabus itself gives you a framework how to write answers. You can write economy का answer इसी format में. That the planning issues, the mobilization issues, growth issues, development issues. If they're talking about agriculture, write the cropping pattern issues, irrigation issues in a manner, in a logical, coherent manner.
That's very beautiful, yeah. I mean, that's very beautifully put. Was there something you figured out and you appreciated the beauty of whoever crafted the UPSC syllabus? या ये mentor ने बताया था कि mindset ही ऐसा रख. Is this something you?
The only thing he had told me is, Areeba, there's a logic in everything UPSC has done, or everything which is out in public domain. There is a very logical manner that they conduct exam. There is a logic in syllabus. He had only told me this. So earlier I was not able to recall syllabus. So I was not able to figure out what is in what. So this was kind of problem. So I had to code it. Like I had to crack it. How to remember syllabus. So I was just one day sitting and I could see a philosophy in the syllabus all of a sudden. That it is designed in such a beautiful manner. है ना? देखो ethics आप देखो, ethics में वो starting कहाँ से करता है कि what is ethics, essence of ethics, human values. वो सबसे पहले corruption या work culture की बात नहीं करता है. Work culture corruption decide कैसे होता है? आपकी first stage is ethics. morals, values, human values, in public, in private, कहाँ से मिलती है एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर से, लीडर से, रिफॉर्मर से. तो ये उसका फर्स्ट सेट है उसके सिलेबस का. They did not write anything randomly. They have philosophical. Everything is very logical in this exam. That's why the exam is very beautiful. And the person who understands the exam will understand this whole thing. And if you have a lot of noise, ये पढ़ लो वो पढ़ लो, तो फिर दिक्कत है.
Wow, man. Did you? I almost forgot my next set of questions. This is so beautiful. I could just keep continuing. Let you just
Thank
continue
you.
with.
Thank you.
When did you crack this code? Like, when did you crack it so beautifully? The syllabus poetry. क्या कब था? First,
That
second, third?
happened when I had given my first mains.
Really?
In
This is
2019, I could understand this whole thing.
nice.
Because that
Nice.
saves a lot of efforts. That saves a lot of effort, because people, while writing answer, they do not understand dimensions, how to write, what to write. The dimension is in the syllabus itself.
Okay, and when you crack this code and then you kind of, and I'm now just building this with you. So when you figured a possible crack, right? Philosophy is basically just a possible way to relook at something, right? And then फिर तुमने PYQs देखे and कुछ rankers के attempt या कुछ best question attempt देखे, you could find the same string running in the good answers. Did the
Yes.
world become fresh for you? Like matrix का code break हो गया और अब now you're seeing binary 1-0. This is so beautiful. And were you preparing with
in fact,
friends or alone?
if you analyze previous year questions also, you will again see a pattern. You will see a pattern that every time there is set pattern. एक line इस syllabus के points से उठाया, एक छोड़ के दूसरे point से उठाया, इसको करके horizontally गए, फिर vertically गए. So my most of the time went in
नहीं यार
analyzing.
क्या बोल रही? Seriously, इस level तक you figured it out?
Like in some of the cases I could, because I'll tell you this thing. I don't want aspirants to do whole intelligence bureau thing, but when I gave my 2021 attempt in GS1, I knew around 13 questions that will be coming, and literally those 13 questions were in the paper, and that's why I could score one of the highest in GS1. I scored 114.
Okay.
Because those 13 I had predicted, and I obviously had an edge on those questions as compared to other students, because I had the best of intros, best of conclusions, best of diagrams for those questions. Similarly, in GS2, I had cracked at least 7 to 8 questions, and it's very easy. People don't do previous year questions at all. They don't understand what is the pattern. And I won't say that there's a strict pattern. You don't have to just go by this pattern. You have to do everything. But finally, the priority needs to be there. The Pareto needs to be there. Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So,
अभी मैंने इस तुमसे पहले जिनसे भी लोगों से बात की ना, they all vouched for PYQ. It only seems logical, but not in this, architect kind of a tarika ki I could slice and dice vertically, horizontally. I could predict the next move. Now I know the enemy's mind. But there's a movie called Ender's Game. I mean, just give it a shot whenever you get a chance to watch it. It's based on a fantasy novel which came, I think, in 60s, 70s, where Ender is a kid blessed with, kind of different dimensions of intelligence, IQ भी है, EQ भी है, वगैरह वगैरह. And he can be thrown into chaos, and he figures the enemy's mind by just very closely observing.
no, I have to do a lot still.
Yeah, I mean, but like when you're talking like this, it almost seemed like you've spent considerable time on the syllabus and just kind of understanding.
Again, the credit goes to my mentor. He had told me that Areeba, this exam, if you're studying 12 hours a day, 6 hours should go in studying and 6 hours should go in thinking, because ultimately they are not selecting you for a clerk level position where you have to put in everything in your mind. They want a policy person who is visionary enough, who can understand what the world will be after 25 years, what kind of policies you need to bring in. So this one statement kind of hit me ki they're not selecting clerks, they are selecting officers.
That's
so
beautiful.
Again, because see, I'm not saying that job wala problem, but the thing is, what clerks have to do is they have to be very much correct in terms of data.
Correct.
But you don't have to recall each and everything. You don't have to rectify each and everything. Concepts है.
Correct.
जैसे मान लो आप बच्चे रट रहे होते हैं कि प्रेसिडेंट में इस तरह का इलेक्शन होता है, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट में ऐसा इलेक्शन होता है, इसके में 6 साल का गैप, इसमें 6 महीने का गैप. there is logic to everything. Understand that logic. Like Rajya Sabha ka ballot is secret, open ballot. Every other polling is secret ballot. तो अब इसको रटना नहीं है, आपको सोचो कि राज्यसभा में ओपन बैलेट क्यों है, because there is a whip. The MLAs are voting. If they go against the party lines, there will be a whip on them. That's why it's open ballot. And all other elections has to be private. आपकी क्या choice है, उसको privacy रखना है. Those are closed ballot. So you don't have to rectify every nitty-gritty in this exam. Understand the logic. और जब आपको एक बार concept आ जाता है, तो आपको रटने वाला काम कम हो जाता है. तो रटना आप आर्ट एंड कल्चर में करिए, ना कि पॉलिटी, इकोनॉमी. इन सबको रटने की जरूरत है ही नहीं. So students are putting energy in different directions. They are literally directionless. A lot of students are directionless, and I think everybody has that capability, to if they can decode this exam, everybody is eligible enough, because all they need is a graduate with average mind. So you just have
that's
to
easier said than done.
yeah, just
No,
to
but
crack the
credit,
whole philosophy of it.
Credit where it's due. I knew what I was getting into this video call because मैंने बताया था कि this is fascinating to me कि you had a structure and fundas and you followed it to the T. And my funda was probably you will tell me something about discipline and approach and the basic stuff. But the way you've gone deep into कि okay, the part that you spent thinking was actually spent thinking and consolidating all the fundas that you could figure out and assimilating them. That's very deep, and it's looks very simple when you say it, but it's not an easy thing to keep doing it again and again and again. But it looks very simple. There's nothing complex, right? It's very difficult to just keeping up at it.
See, like if I tell you the deeper part of it, I am a very, very lazy person. So a lazy person will find out a shorter way. And for me, the shorter way was to just crack this exam. What it needs, just do this and go away. Like, okay, fine. So the thing is, a person who is very enthusiastic will read 10, 20 books. But being a lazy, I will choose one book and I will make full use of it. Okay. So that was my whole formula. कि
तुम्हें FOMO नहीं होता क्या? That you never suffer from FOMO? कि that's a question. Do you not suffer from FOMO ever?
No, it's an absolute no, because in old Rajendra Nagar, I had only 2-3 friends, just 2-3 friends, and trust me, I didn't even ask like what they are doing, how they are reading, nothing, because I was very clear that this exam will literally, it's an ocean. The more you will be surrounded by different noises, more you will deviate. So anybody who knows me like in a very deeper manner, so they will understand this. They know this thing that in a whole 4 years preparation, my level of isolation. I used to go solo to every eatery, in ORN. I would take a break 15 days. I would go solo and I would watch a movie. I will do anything but solo. I didn't want any noise because I was very sure about my frameworks and I didn't want anybody to tell me to change it. And for that reason, I only had just 2-3 toppers who I used to follow. I didn't even just go on this binge watching of toppers videos. A lot of people binge watch toppers videos. So
yeah, that
ultimately,
vicarious motivation rubs off, or so they think.
So just keep the noise away and it will be easier.
So अब मुझे बताओ what happened when you appeared for the interview, the last one where you cracked the 109th rank. Was it? Do interviews tend to digress a lot? Were there any psychological trigger? कुछ पैतरे थे या वो भी बहुत सिंपल था? इंटरव्यू बहुत सिंपल गया था?
नहीं, इंटरव्यू तो उसका टाइप ही है ना आपकी पर्सनालिटी को जज करना. तो इट वाज अ साइन वेव.
Oh, okay.
Basically it was again it was good. मतलब अच्छा था क्योंकि आपका वहाँ पे ऑन स्पॉट आपका दिमाग कितना काम करता है, that matters. और I think the starting also matters. On what tone the interview starts. Like for example, if the very first question is as raw as what is Consumer Protection Act, so people will be like, what is that? But if they just try to comfort you that by asking that, so Areeba, what is the last place you traveled? Traveling is my hobby. So I will be in a better, tone to. I will develop a sense of like belongingness to
some
the
warmth. Some warmth.
So fortunately, it started on a very light tone. Like they started with my optional sociology. And however, when I was getting comfortable, they used to give me some factual questions. So that
Okay.
instantly they had to take me out of my comfort zone and then put me in the comfort zone. So it was this. But
Oh, nice. But it sounds like they took care of you. Like they also tested and they took care of you in a way.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's nice.
Like one of the people, they told me that see, they in interview they are not to eliminate you. They are not sitting there to eliminate you. They have invited you to know about
Okay.
you. They have
Okay.
given you that opportunity to sit in front of them only to know you.
Okay.
So first of all, own that place. Like this is whole. If you own that place, the chair you are sitting, understand that you have earned that seat. You have that capability to talk to them. Don't think you are just a random person who is sitting there. You have
Nice.
earned the place to talk to them, है ना? So
Nice.
that's why keep that respect, because obviously they are huge people, है ना? Keep that respect and simultaneously have that confidence that they have invited you to talk to you. So a lot of people they are very panicked कि क्या पूछेंगे, क्या हो जाएगा, है ना? तो जब आप माइंड में ये चीज फिक्स कर लेते हैं कि यू आर केपेबल इनफ, तो बहुत हद तक चीजें सही हो जाती हैं. So remove all the psychological barriers when you are in interview phase. It's a very chill process. अभी भी मैं interview stage में ही हूँ.
Yeah, you were talking the other day. But बहुत सही यार. I can just keep talking to you about anything. And because it's all nothing that I prepared for. So this thing which you said, right? Own the place, but in a very in a way that you respect everyone involved in the scenario.
Yes.
But do own the place. Do understand that you're there for a reason, and that ये भी बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग कॉन्सेप्ट है. आई मीन मोस्ट ऑफ द कॉन्वर्सेशन अभी तक जो भी हुई है वो तुम्हारे देखने के नजरिए को लेके ज्यादा हुई है. आई मीन आई एम massively intrigued and delighted by how you look at things. So when you mentor people, abhi you're super mentors to few kids at Civilsdaily. आप क्या करते हो? What's your style of mentoring to them? मतलब what do you talk with them mostly?
So my first session with every student is the whole and making them very clear about this exam, and basically removing most of the noises around them, most of the rabbit hole around them, because when you start in this now, you should have very clear concepts, very minimal and very clear concepts. So my first agenda is to give them this. My second talk is mostly on resources that they have to choose, and subsequently we talk like if they have a lot of negatives in their prelims, so rather than going with the marks that what they are getting, I take questions that why did they do it negative, like so I tell them this framework that always write three things I believe that when we do something negative, so the negative marks comes when you do not have knowledge about that thing. You just आपने तुक्का मार दिया, आपको knowledge थी ही नहीं. Second is when you did not have conceptual clarity of that topic. You knew that this topic but when that came as a question, तो आपको समझ आया कि यार इसमें concept तो clear है ही नहीं. Third is concept is clear, everything is sorted, but you had not revised it. अगर आपने वो एक दिन पहले revise किया होता तो आप positive कर देते उस question को. So this was the thing I used to do in every question, like 100 questions I attempted. There might be 20-25 negative also. So every negative I will write revision gap RG, conceptual gap CG, and knowledge gap is KG. So in whole paper I will see how many revision gaps are there, how many conceptual gaps are there, and what is knowledge gap. That will give me a kind of framework, like kind of this mind map कि रिविजन कहाँ करना है, कॉन्सेप्ट क्या क्या क्लियर करना है.
Okay.
ये मैं बच्चों को बताती हूँ.
Did you used to write a lot of mocks वगैरह के में विश्वास रखते थे या नहीं इतना?
मॉक मैंने एक अटेम्प्ट की थी, एक टेस्ट सीरीज, क्योंकि वो हर कोई कर रहा था तो मुझे लगा यार इतना भी एक्सक्लूसिव मत हो, एक तो कर लो.
Okay.
गिवन अ चॉइस मैं वो भी नहीं करती, बिकॉज मैंने आपको जैसे बोला कि प्रीवियस ईयर ने मेरी पूरी लाइफ सॉर्ट कर दी थी. तो उसमें मुझे चाहिए था नहीं, बट द थिंग इज करना जरूरी भी है. एक मॉक तो यू
ऐसे कुछ एग्जाम प्रेशर एग्जाम टाइप सिमुलेशन नहीं किया था प्रीवियस ईयर? तो आराम से करते होगे ना अपने आप बैठ के थिंकिंग एंड एनालाइजिंग. ऐसे कुछ
वन वाज जब मैं कुछ टॉपिक पढ़ रही हूँ, से आई एम रीडिंग पार्लियामेंट, सो आई विल डू प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस ऑफ पार्लियामेंट इन प्रीवियस ईयर्स. But one was I used to take print out of the year, like 2021 आप ले लो. I will sit in that 2 hour sitting and I will properly attempt it.
Acha, okay.
because
So you
simulation
used to
was
attempt
important.
PYQs as a mock, right?
हाँ.
Okay, sorted.
I had given one whole mock series also. Just one. It was 35 test wala that I told you I had to do one at least. तो वो
You
वाला
wrote
मैंने
35 tests and 35 mocks. That's what you.
हाँ 35 prelims के mocks 35.
हाँ.
मतलब वो
Oh,
एक पूरी
that's good
सीरीज
enough,
होती
yeah.
है ना 35 क्वेश्चंस की 35
Correct.
टेस्ट की. तो
हाँ,
वो
हाँ,
मैंने एक
got it.
लाइक अब उसमें बच्चे क्या करते हैं कि दे विल जॉइन थ्री मॉक्स हर में वो दे रहे हैं. तो यही प्रॉब्लम है, यही सारे रैबिट होल्स हैं जिसे आप कहते हैं. लाइक पीपल थिंक कि यहाँ पे जितना ज्यादा करोगे उतना बेनिफिशियल होगा. उल्टा है, जितना मिनिमल करोगे जितना क्लैरिटी से करोगे उतना बेहतर होगा. तो मैं यही बोलती हूँ मेंटर्स को कि बच्चों को कि व्हाटएवर कोचिंग यू आर इन जस्ट डू दैट वन मॉक वेरी रिलीजियसली. दैट्स ऑल.
Okay.
And
And
in fact,
easier
one of
said
the
than done, but
student yesterday he called me and then he told me when I'm doing this revision gap, conceptual gap wala thing, then I'm literally getting hold of it. That what to revise, what concepts to make it clear. मैंने कहा यार अच्छी बात है, मतलब यही चाहती हूँ मैं.
But that's so nice. So तुमने खुद ही पढ़ा, अकेले ही पढ़ा. You didn't have like group study वगैरह, कुछ पढ़ना नहीं, right?
No.
Not getting influenced by anyone's.
Nah.
Nothing.
But this I did in interview stage, because in interview ultimately you have to talk.
Yeah.
Like I was literally isolated in these 3-4 years, so that social skill I had lost. I had my
Okay.
college friends, 6-7 college friends. They were all computer science doing their masters, so no connect to UPSC. But then interview ultimately you have to talk. So group wala I did only an interview.
Awesome. But क्या मुझको if we get time with you again, I'll just would want to go and revisit the syllabus wala poetry which you talked about, because that is beautiful. And if some other people we've spoken with, उन्होंने Excel बनाई थी PYQ की ना, themes कौन कौन से लेकर करिए. But would be great to see कि what document you kind of made for yourself, before. Okay. But regardless, amazing talking with you. More than what I imagined, would come of it. And जो भी बंदा पूरा देखेगा भाई, it should be a delight to spend this much amount of time.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for taking the time out, Areeba.
Thank you so much, Rohit. And you two are a really great person. We had a conversation. Some of your ideas were also brilliant.
Cool. I'll follow them, follow with you on them, right? As I build them on.
Okay.
Okay. Chalo. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Take care.